Nothing yet. Now I can hear. Yep. Now I can hear myself good.
You all right?
Yep.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach, Wahoo Willie'S. It's time for another exciting award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Wow. Thank you all for that. That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
We have a huge crowd here today. We have a table of 8 from Wisconsin. Dixie brought her whole family. And they brought us cheese curds that we're going to have after the show. I have never had cheese curds.
You never had it
in my entire life.
Oh.
You want me to turn it up a little bit for you?
Well, I don't hear you on these.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, cheese curd. It's great. I mean, it's the first time I ate cheese, and it crunches when you eat it. It sounds like.
All right. Well, don't give away the secret for me. But first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out to the show today. And I know the coughing isn't because anyone's sick, so don't feel like you have to put a mask on or anything. The red tide
it's killing everyone.
It's crazy out there, and it's sad to see the fish out there. But thank you all for coming to the show. Thank you all for buying the merchandise. Thank you all for bringing us gifts for some reason. And it's just, it's very humbling to see everybody here for this.
So we got to show these. So Bob and Cindy Gross from Indiana brought these down for us. This is a coffee mug, says love is in the hair. And yours says.
You went past that a little too fast. You got to emphasize the hair.
Love is in the hair.
Yes, because for some reason there's a thing about your hair. And this one says, I'm a radio host. I'm kind of a big deal. And so
they had a nice donation. And they had a nice donation in here for the coffee.
Yes.
So that was super fantastic.
Everybody knows that the coffee is not really a coffee thing. So this is a little plaque that says, how do I take my coffee seriously, very seriously? So I thank you all for the coffee donations.
Very,
and
very nice.
It's just been an incredible thing. And I don't know if you all had a chance to watch the walk around video this morning on Flamingo Street. It was just, we got a tour from Jerry's here. Stand up, Jerry. Jerry is a Vietnam veteran. He's working on a memorial for downtown Fort Myers and also for Bayside Park. That we have pictures of for veterans. And he gave us the full tour of Flamingo today. And that street, which is probably, what do you think, 30 houses? About 30 houses. It's like a complete neighborhood. And people were coming out and telling their story about what happened to their house. And they were coming out and just thanking us for the information that we put out there. And they all are great friends from, you said you were there 24 years. And some of the houses have to be knocked down and some of the houses survived. But the thing that really pisses me off is that some of the houses have to come down and FEMA's leaving. Of course, you know, our federal government is sending all this money over to Ukraine, but here are the houses that have to be knocked down. And now these people, once the houses get knocked down, they have to pay for the houses to be removed from the street because FEMA's like, you know, they're telling people to, you know, take one on the chin there. So But it was thank you, Jerry, for the tour. I got off base there a little bit. Usually you push me back in line there, but you
Nope.
just decided to let me go
Letting
off
you
on
go
my
out
own
on
there.
your yarn.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. So
Drift out to sea.
our first guest today weathered the storm.
Oh yeah.
Dean, nice and close to the microphone.
Yep. I
Dean
weathered.
Rubin.
Yep.
Now, where do you live, Dean?
Right now I'm living with my daughter, but I lived on the island here since '79. Not no more. The place was leveled, and I was in the place when it finally leveled about 2:00 when the high tide came on up. I was on a piling house, and it looked like I was holding pretty well. But then everything across the street, the roof of my house come blown through my place, and I had a friend with me also and everything, and we just watched everything coming over and just nailing our house to where I said, I think we better put on our life jackets.
Oh,
Now,
boy.
where's your house?
It was on Estero Boulevard, right between Sable Street and Bayview Boulevard,
Okay.
and right on the main boulevard. And we just saw all the ways this coming on in and everything. And then once the houses started to crash through my house, then I seen that it was crumbling because my roof started to cave in, and we just ran out the back window of my bedroom and jumped out the window into the storm about 2:00, which was high tide.
So
2:00 in the morning.
No,
So,
it was afternoon.
afternoon?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
afternoon. It was
Were
high
you
tide.
by yourself?
Wow.
No, it was with
This
a
was
friend.
fun.
A friend of mine was there with me. We both had life jackets on, and we tried to swim to a house that was sticking out of the water, but the current was just too strong, so we just had to go with the current and grab on the palm trees and stuff so we didn't get washed out in the back bay.
Wow.
But after we held onto the palm trees for a while, that wasn't working, waves and everything going by us.
All right, so you glaze over that like it's no big deal. So you jump out of your house and you're holding on to palm trees.
Yes, that's it. That's about it.
And is the water continuing to rise, or is it just at that point the
and
wind?
the waves are just crashing us because we're right there, right next to the Gulf, just watching it come on in with the debris floating on by us and whatnot, and just know what else to do. But all we just kept on doing is trying to keep our cool and trying to think out what we're going to do to survive while we're in the storm. I mean, it was tough, but we just had to keep our cool without panicking or anything.
How do you not panic in a situation like that?
You just start thinking, what are you going to do next? Try to keep it off your mind. Just try to think, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? And that's what we had done. And and she prayed a lot, and I told her, don't stop praying. But and then after the palm tree ordeal, I mean, that just wasn't working anymore. We saw a roof sticking out of the water still, so we decided that the current take us towards the roof of this house.
Was it attached to a house, or was it just?
Yes, it was attached to the house, but there's all kinds of houses still floating by us that we grabbed onto to float on over there. And once we got to that house, luckily we grabbed onto it and held on. We let go, it just kept on washing us on out. But after struggling a little while, we finally made it up on our patio deck roof, and that started the wave after a while. So, and things just flying by, and a piece of wood come and hit me right between the eyes.
Get out.
I'll have some black eyes tomorrow if I get out.
Wow.
But then we just jumped up on the second roof part of the house and went underneath an eave, and we stayed underneath that eave there while it just kept on howling and coming through and pounding. Then we saw that roof starting to wave that we were sitting on. And about 9 foot of it broke in half. It was about a 20-foot roof. 9 foot of it broke in half and come over and landed right in front of us as we're sitting underneath the eave, about 2 feet from us. And we just thank God for that we weren't any closer to it.
Wow.
And we knew that we had to get inside that house because things were just going, but the water's just too deep. But when the tide started to go down, the wind was still going. We made it down inside the house, scurried on down the roof, made it inside the house, broke the window out, made it inside. But as she tried to get in, she didn't make it in. I had to grab her and pull her on there. She
just because the water was taking her.
Yeah. So it got her in there, and while we were in the house, we just saw a spa just sitting there about on a 45 and decided to get up out of the water. And finally, we're out of the storm after about 3-4 hours.
How high up in the air do you think you were in the water?
In the water? Oh, I don't know. I would say it was probably about 15 feet or so.
And all kinds of debris. Like now you're in the ocean for the most, or not the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico for the most part.
Yeah. The Gulf of Mexico just taking everything to the back bay. So, once we let go of that tree, we knew we had to grab something because the waves were just still crashing on us.
How high were the waves?
The waves were probably about another 5-6 feet or so. Oof. But I mean, I drank a lot of water that day.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you go under a lot? Were you going under the water a lot? Were you going under the water a lot?
Oh yeah. When the waves hit us, we had to scurry our way back on up. But it was a tough experience. And once we got into that house there, we knew we had to find shoes. We lost our shoes, so we found some shoes on in there. And,
Really? At that point, you're thinking about shoes.
Well,
you needed something on your
well,
feet.
we're already sitting on a spot. We're out of the wind and out of the water finally after about 3 hours.
How long do you think you were holding on to that palm tree?
Probably about close to an hour. We're on the palm tree, and it was just getting tiresome, and the waves just kept on nailing us with the debris. We knew we had to do something else, and that's why we went for the roof once we saw it. We just kept on thinking, what are we going to do next?
Did you see any other people from any of the other houses close by or hear anything?
No, we were looking. We didn't see anyone. Although the house we were trying to swim to before the current took us to the palm tree, there were people staying there, but we didn't know they were there. But they didn't know we were in the storm. But there's a lot of neighbors right in my neighborhood that one of them didn't make it. Mitch, I don't know if anyone knows Mitch.
Yeah, for sure.
He just lived a couple blocks down from me. God bless him.
He made a video right before the storm got bad that we all watched. And
I saw that video also.
It just looked like a little bit of water that was coming up in his neighborhood, and then it must have just went insane.
Then it just rose. Yeah, it just rose, and we're watching cars, and before we jumped, we were watching cars, dumpsters, sheds floating on by us and everything.
Wow. I mean, you get hit by a dumpster and it's likely you're not going to survive a dumpster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't need to answer this, but how old are you?
67.
So 67, I mean, you're not a spring chicken, and you're holding on to a palm tree. And
believe me, I was hurting the next day.
Right. You were sore.
You always
didn't have to go to the gym.
You always
the
find
next
some
day.
inner strength to help on out.
Yeah.
And same thing with her. I mean, she was as tough as nails. Like, God bless her too. And I told her, I said, if I ever go through anything like this again, I want you with me. She goes, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Now,
but you were as tough as nails.
Yeah, is that? So you guys sit around drinking beer saying you were tough as nails. Is that?
Actually, I had a couple big margaritas sitting in my freezer I was going to have afterwards, but that got washed away in the store.
That's over on Flamingo Street in Gary's backyard right now.
So how long did you stay in that house before you guys ventured out?
We stayed in until about, like I said, 2:00 we jumped, and that was a mean high tide right at 2. And that's when the water was just under our floorboard. And I thought we were going to hold till everything started to blow across and cut our house apart.
No, I mean in the other house that you got into.
Oh, the other house. Yeah. Once we got inside the other house for safety and everything, we stayed there for the night because we knew there was going to be no rescue. They told us that in the morning, there's going to be no rescue. You're there. So we just stayed in there, and luckily there's some neighbors there. They came on out of the room and saw us there. They gave us some dry clothes, and they gave us a room to rest, and you couldn't sleep.
Joanne says, incredible story of courage and might. God bless your bravery, and thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm glad you guys invited me. I really am. Appreciate it.
Well, we're not kicking you out yet, but I wanted to, sometimes the people that are watching here can't
hello everyone,
can't see what the comments are.
I've been
that
a
people
fixture on this island since '79. So
really,
well, and did you work on the island? What did you do
I
for
just
work?
lived and worked right on the island. My grandson, he lived in I owned a duplex, and I was renting out the other half, and he was working with me, but he left the island.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you a question. Why'd you decide to stay?
I stayed on all of them. My house went through the storms through the 70s. I didn't, so I figured, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be all that bad. And I was wrong, but I was preparing for the worst. I always had generators and extra stuff. Also, you always prepare for it and everything.
Yeah, I don't have a life jacket in my house. I mean, how many people have a life jacket in their house?
Well, that was the last thing we bought. I looked at it, I said, I better bring them up just in case. Well, it just in case came up.
Wow.
No kidding.
Did you really think at the time, you must have been like, I'm going to bring them up, but what are the chances of that?
Might as well bring them up. They're here. So, and I'm glad I did.
How did your house do? Is your house gone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everything just cut on through it. And as it was cutting through it, now the waves are picking up the debris and cutting on through it. Yeah. And when I first jumped, as I was, tide was taking me away, I looked back and I just saw my places crumbling it was sickening. Yeah. I mean, I lived there since 92.
Wow.
That house. So that was my home.
Yeah. Are you okay with insurance and all that to rebuild?
I'm trying to rebuild, but so far no word from the insurance company.
Shocking.
Yeah, ain't it?
Shocking.
Think that, huh? But I talked to everyone else, they're going through the same thing. And I said, don't feel alone. I mean, a lot of us, we haven't heard a word, got a dime, and FEMA, all they did is just throw me some crumbs, told me to go put a trailer on my lot 2 times, and both times they pulled the rug out from underneath me, kicked me in the stomach, and just keep on saying, we're sorry, we're sorry. And I know there's a lot of other people out there with the same story, said they ain't getting nothing but crumbs from them. And you know, I finally got discouraged and told them how I felt. I mean, I was nice as pie all the way up to just last week or a couple of weeks ago when they told me they weren't going to they weren't going to put one on my lot because you're in a flood zone. Well,
Right.
not Fort Myers Beach.
Right.
But,
Well, the thing is that they've been leading people on and thinking that they could get a trailer because they hire a contractor to go out and measure your yard and say, okay, you can put a trailer there. And then the jackballs in Washington say that you can't put a trailer in a flood zone.
well, they had an engineer come out the second time. They denied me first time. Then they said, you're going to get one. What we're going to do, we're going to put a mobile on your lot.
Right.
And with that mobile on your lot, if there's a hurricane warning, we just take it off. So that's great. An engineer came out, surveyed it, and I had everything all set up for him. Then they pulled the rug out from underneath me again. So sorry.
So
We'll relocate you. We're not denying it, but we'll relocate you.
So
where'd
where
they
are you
relocate
staying
you to?
now?
So I'm at my daughter's place now in Fort Myers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So do you own the property?
yeah.
So eventually will you rebuild?
I'm thinking about it. I gotta see how the insurance comes out. I applied for the SBA loan and they told me I'm eligible for it, but I ain't heard anything on it yet. I turned all my paperwork in. They said you still may be denied. So like I said, I just get crumbs and that's it.
So how big is your property?
It's I don't know. It's about 40 feet by 60 feet or something like that.
What is that,
or
dear?
50 by 60.
I don't even know why you ask because you have no.
Is that like
I
an
can't
acre?
think.
No,
It was a
no.
duplex on it.
Yeah.
2-bedroom,
Yeah.
2-bath duplex
Yeah.
that was on it.
So it's on the beach side.
No, it's on the bay
Oh,
side,
on the-
right on the
Stero
Stero Boulevard.
I see, on the
about
bay
3
side.
blocks north of
Give me some
Publix.
kind of landmark there. Oh, Publix.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
It's
we
probably
made-
worth $10 million right now. Everybody's paying crazy money for stuff on this beach.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But you want to rebuild and stay.
I love to rebuild if I can get the funds for it, but
Yeah.
still waiting for insurance company, the SBA loan, and everything else. But
it's like it's coming up on the 6-month anniversary.
ain't it though?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I have to renew my PO box. I only got it for 6 months.
Oh, you can't even get mail. Yeah.
Have you heard
Oh, God.
anything from your insurance company or just crickets?
No, I went down there and all they say is, no, you receive zero, and I got an adjuster and he's been working on it because looks like we can get something from the flood, but the wind is blaming it on the flood and the flood's blaming it on the wind.
Yeah.
It's
So,
the
you
same
know.
story. That's
Yeah.
what happens. They're in cahoots together. That's what I think it is. It's a conspiracy to screw everybody on Fort Myers
And
Beach.
they just want to, and they were hoping that everyone gets so discouraged, they just throw their arms up,
Yeah.
but
Right.
they don't know me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, what
I've
are you
been
gonna
in
do?
business on this island for,
Yeah.
Since 92.
so
have my
so
own
what are you going to
business,
do?
so-
What can people do? What do you think is?
Well, I talked to a few people. They just ain't got no place to go yet. So they're just moving off and selling. And I feel sorry for them. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough to have family like my daughter to take me in and says,
Right.
as long as it takes. And I just keep on telling, you got to excuse me, I'm getting choked up. Day by day, just got to take it day by day. That's all you can do. I
Yep.
mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is. But sadly, a lot of help that's supposed to come to you. And I even went to United Florida. They're going to put a trailer on my lot, but FEMA didn't. Second time didn't deny me. They're going to put one on my lot, so they had to deny me because FEMA was already going to put one on my lot. So they said, well, we're going to have to deny it because of that. Well, when they denied me, FEMA's trailer was already expired. When I called up to appeal it, forget it. I couldn't even get a number to appeal it.
Right.
Can you imagine having you're just going through life. You're just doing your daily thing, and then your life gets disrupted by a storm, and then you can never go back to your daily
Never.
job or whatever you were doing because all you're doing is talking to insurance companies and adjusters and FEMA
I'm
and
back
there's
to work, but like you said,
what are you doing?
part time.
Yeah.
I'm an electrician, electrical contractor.
Oh,
so
do you need some business?
I went and bought another van, and my
Nice.
grandson's back with me, so we're commuting back and forth doing electrical work on the island like we did because we just lived and worked on the island.
Yeah.
But like you said, I can only work part time because all my other times to
Spent with
take
that.
care of the affairs. Trying
What
to
Who's
take care of the
who's
affairs.
your insurance company?
Homeowners insurance and the flood insurance is American Banker or something.
American, my
Yeah.
buttocks.
Mm.
What is Conchi Joe's?
Country Joe's, that's on the East Coast. So every
I
time
see.
I go to see my sister on the East Coast, we always go to Country Joe's. She buys
Yeah.
me a shirt or a hat.
Con-
I
so
like your shirt. Where
Oh,
did you
thank-
get
My
that?
sister got me this too because she knew I lost all my clothes and I wore a lot of Hawaiian shirts. So she got me this.
do you know
Thank you.
Joanne? Do you know Joanne Thurston? Joanne Thurston.
Joanne
says-
Thurston? Oh, yeah, up in Jersey.
She says, clearly they don't know you. Your story is not from a man who gives up.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Conchi Joe's is on the East Coast.
All right. I don't know if there's any on the West Coast. But
Did you ever run into a man named John Heron on the East Coast?
I don't
Probably
believe
not.
So. No, I can't.
Okay. I'm not sick.
Neither am I.
I'm not sick. No,
coughing
nobody
too
here
at
is
the same
sick.
time.
Nobody has COVID or anything like that. So what's your next step? What are you going to do?
Right now, I'm just hanging in there, see what I can do, see if I can rebuild. But I also have a friend of mine's in real estate, stuck my property up for sale, but I told him I'm not giving this away.
What
No.
did he
So
price
he's-
it at?
Right now, he's pricing at 1.4.
Is that a good price, Jorge? Is that a good price? Is it 1.4 a good price? He's not even listening. He has no idea what I'm talking about. So do you think it's a good price?
Well, I talked to another friend of mine who lost his house on the Bay side, and his friend had a house on the Bay side of Estero, and he just got 975 for his.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I think if you put it on the market and you take the first offer, like probably
Yeah, if you're
Probably
not in a hurry,
underpriced.
yeah, you gotta wait.
I can wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can wait.
Yeah.
I got a place where
we
I'm
don't want you to
staying at.
leave though. We want
Yeah,
you
I
to
don't want to
rebuild.
leave. Believe
Yeah.
me. He already wrote back after we sell it. Do you still want to live on the island? I said, find me a place. So he's working
Yeah,
on that too. I said, I want a high house though.
Yeah,
I
oh,
want
yeah.
pilings. I want a high house. So he's working on it with me
Great.
too.
Well,
So
hopefully your
luckily I
insurance
have
company.
friends that's in the
will-
real estate business that can help me out with
yeah.
that.
Well, hopefully the insurance company will eventually come through so that you can.
Do something. I mean,
Yeah.
well, the SBA loan's only going to give me like $240,000. They said. I said that's not even touching what it's going to cost to rebuild.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on
Yeah.
now. Well, if you want more, we can give you more.
Maybe go to mediation. We were talking to somebody last
Oh,
night. There's a
yeah.
whole mediation process. I've never even heard of the mediation
Neither
process.
have I.
So yeah.
What's
For,
that all
but that's
about?
with insurance, not with the SBA.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
my
with
insurance
insurance.
company, if I can get something through my insurance and the SBA, it may be something at least to
Right.
start. So
Yeah, we'll have to get the information.
Yeah.
on
We got to
that.
get a mediator on so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
yeah.
help people get the money that they deserve. Because
We gotta
clearly
get
you're
your-
not getting the money that
they
you deserve.
instead of crumbs that you're getting thrown. Yeah,
No,
you're
you
right.
need- the insurance company needs to at least be communicating with you on some level.
I haven't got a word back from them. As a matter of fact, I finally went down there in person because their office finally opened, and all they said, "Yeah, we can give you this letter here saying you ain't received nothing yet, but we don't know anything. You have to go through the insurance company, not us, the agent." So
Well,
no word.
we thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
and is
thank
there
you.
anything else you want people to know about your story?
Yeah, house.
You
He
want a
needs
house?
a place to live
Well, we have builders that will build your house for you when you're ready.
once you get your insurance money, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I thank you for having me. And
Big hand for Dean Rubin, everybody, who
Thank you,
went through
everyone.
hell.
Thank you.
Can you imagine going through that? Thank you for coming on.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Bye now.
much.
Dean Rubin, everybody. Great story about survival here on Fort Myers Beach. And you're going to hear another story of survival in just a minute. After we tell you about Power Block Builders, someday Dean's going to build a house. And maybe the folks at Power Block Builders will be the folks that build his new house. They were on our show last night. If you didn't watch our Friday night show from Margaritas, you can hit the rewind button or go on the Facebook and watch last night's show. Power Block Builders has built over 500 to 600 structural shells for tract home builders, and they're also building homes in Cape Coral. They're ready to build you a home, no money down. They're locally based. It's like a family affair. And you want somebody you can trust building your home, just like you want somebody you can trust checking your pipes, making sure your electric is on. You want people that you can trust. And we're only going to tell you about people you can trust. And Power Block Builders, Oscar and Drew from last night. I think you're a little surprised I remember Drew's name because you couldn't remember his name last night. From Power Block Builders. Give them a call today. Check them out online at powerblockbuilders.com. We also want to tell you about Jorge Barrera, everybody. Can we get a big hand for Jorge Barrera in the house? He's in the house. He's giving away a lot of money when he sells a house. 10% of all his commissions go to local organizations like the $25,000 you gave to the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. That's not chump change, everybody. $25,000 will buy you a few hats and a few coffee mugs, if you know what I'm saying. He's also still volunteering at 820 Buttonwood. Now, 820 Buttonwood is over on the other side of the bridge where they're still taking donations to give to folks that are in need of things as they work through this disaster. Jorge Barrera is going to sell your house. He's going to help you buy a house. He's going to make sure that you get the perfect price, no matter if you're a buyer or a seller. And you can call him right now and make his cell phone ring at 239-791-9893. 239-791-9893. Thank you, Jorge, for being a sponsor. I believe you guys are coming on the show. Oh, okay, come on over on this side. Go ahead. Yes, he's on at 12 o'clock to talk about his book.
Hey,
Okay.
I got it.
She's got it.
I got it.
Thank you.
I got it.
We'll take care of it for you. Don't worry about it. Trying to make sure. Hi.
I can't hear her.
There we go. I'm very much an amateur.
Hello.
Here.
There we go.
Tell
There we
everybody-
go.
Amateur.
Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, everybody. My name's Lisa Gresh. I lived at 120 Primo Drive behind the Whale. And I am here to recognize my dad who survived the hurricane, rescued, and thank you to the Coast Guard. They rescued my dad and took him to the hospital, Lee Memorial, and he survived the hurricane. He's 89 years old. He went through rehab and made a full recovery. We wanted everybody to know about his maps from Sanibel and Captiva.
I'm trying to keep this real close. I don't
Oh,
want
am I moving away?
well, it's kind of a natural thing. So I'm going to hold it real close.
Okay.
And I'll
I'm going
I
to
get
take
to
this.
babbling. My friends
here.
warned me about that. I babble a lot.
No worries. You babble
know.
as much as you want. I'm going to hold this up so people can
Perfect.
see
You're
it.
great. Thank you. Anyway, my dad's been doing these maps for 30 years up and down the west coast of Florida. And digital has taken over a bit, but Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach, he kept going. Started Fort Myers Beach about 3 years ago because he got bored with just Captiva. And we want you to know that our heart aches for everyone who has suffered. And I know everyone is still hurting. And to bring recognition, I have journaled everything since the storm. It's hard for me to say hurricane. I usually stutter when I say that word. Anyway, it's a celebration of my dad and this book and what we went through in his recovery. Unfortunately, my dad had a sugar spell, diabetes, and went in the hospital, caught COVID, and passed away February 10th. So for today, everybody, please drink a beer and celebrate Jim Gresh.
Why don't we do a toast for your dad?
Thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you.
raise your glass to your dad.
Thank you to my dad, Cookie's dad. There you are. There you are. There you are. Thank you.
Now, is this your family here?
These are good friends.
Okay.
Oh, hello, hello. Yes. Everybody say hello. I don't have my glasses on,
somebody's
so
taking-
everybody's fuzzy and
I
gray.
hope somebody's taking pictures of your friends and family here so that we can share that with you.
Perfect. That would be wonderful.
Marie,
Thank you.
where's
guys.
Marie? Take some
And
pictures.
so your dad survived the storm
He survived the
at
storm.
89,
89.
and he was
89.
rescued by the
Coast Guard.
Now, was
was
he in a boat? Was
airlifted.
he?
No,
was he
we
at
were,
his house?
We
Where
were in
you
the
guys?
second floor of the house on Primo, and we wrote it out. It's really hard for me to talk about.
Yeah.
People have asked us for interviews, and it's not that we didn't want to. We just emotionally couldn't handle it. So we were writing this book together, and to honor my dad and everyone else, and to keep attention brought to all of us, I hope to have it published September 28th and be on the bookshelf for everyone to keep this.
Yeah.
So,
What's the title going to be?
well, I had written a book over the last 10 years of living here called Island Life, and unfortunately that was lost at sea. So the memories aren't lost and the book's not lost. It's just taking a different context. So
How did your dad survive? He was 89 years old.
She might not, and you don't have to go
You
in.
don't-
well,
if it's too
something
emotional.
I've shared repeatedly, it was a lot of just using everything within an arm's reach.
Mhm.
And he rode a closet door for about 4 hours, but he fell and swam, and we kept afloat and fought a lot of things, saw a lot of things, shared a lot of stories, and that'll be in my book because I get too emotional talking
Yeah.
about it.
Wait, so
How long have you lived on the island?
10 years.
10 years.
So
And
when-
your dad too?
He's been here 8 years. He
Okay.
lived in Tampa. North Fort Myers 30 years ago is where he moved. He used to come down the river to the beach and visit all the bars by boat. Then he started moving up the river, maybe because of the Hurricane Charlie. I don't
Right.
remember exactly on the top of my head, but it is in my book.
Awesome.
So when you guys are in the middle of the storm, are you talking to each other?
Oh yeah, there were some calm moments. I think the most interesting is that when I say the water was gone by 6:30, a lot of people didn't realize that the water was gone on Estero Boulevard at 6:30 p.m.
So how long were you guys in the water?
About 4 hours at least
Okay.
deep.
Just were you telling each other stories that you're going to make it, or I mean,
Oh yeah,
what's going on?
there was a lot of. Well, he was in the Marines.
Yeah.
and I will share that at one point he looked at me and said, "There's a reason I didn't join the Navy."
So even in the midst of that, he was able to keep his sense of humor.
We,
No, I
we
don't
kept
even.
some
I don't.
humor.
I don't even get that. What's
Because he
Because
was
they're
in
in
the
the
Marine
water.
Corps
He
and
was
we
in the
were
Marine
riding
Corps.
the water. And
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, "But you've been living on the water and on a boat for
Right.
30 years. I thought you liked the water."
what are you thinking in those moments when you're there with your dad and it's you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's scary as all hell.
There were times that after I recognized he was hallucinating that I thought I was hallucinating.
Yeah.
A ship coming down Estero Boulevard was pretty horrific to see.
Then that wasn't a hallucination. That was actually
I
happening.
found out later.
Yeah.
Chadwick.
Wait,
from
Dad, there's a ship
Captiva.
coming
Oh,
down
wow.
Oh, I
Estero
didn't
Boulevard.
tell him. He had his back. I kept him protected from what was coming.
Okay.
So he couldn't. He was on the board, and I
Yeah.
saw what was.
Yeah.
which-
89. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You just use the tools around you. There's a green cooler I talk about. Things that hit me at first, I realized I needed to use.
I see.
They were my tools. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And now,
just kept coming at me.
Did you guys own the house that you
No,
were in?
I rented.
Oh, I see.
Rented.
How did the house fare?
It didn't.
It's gone.
It didn't.
Yeah.
And I apologize to my landlord friends
You didn't do
and
it.
family for
You didn't do it.
staying.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, the thing was that they kept saying over and over again it was going to Tampa.
Exactly.
And they kept saying over and over again at previous storms that there was going to be storm surge, and there wasn't.
Well, I think, myself included, a lot of us during Irma left. We took full precautions. But this, it's like cry wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right.
And I mean, it wasn't like we didn't try, but it was shorter notice that there's a
Mhm.
shift.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
A wobble.
But
Yeah.
when they said it'd been 100 years since Tampa had seen this kind of storm, I kind of figured we were screwed.
Yeah.
It was time to, and we tried, but that's a lot of people to evacuate at
Right.
once.
Now, are you okay? Like, are you? I mean, I can't imagine how
Where
this.
are you living now?
You heard of musical chairs?
Yes. Yes.
A lot.
You're couch
A lot of
surfing?
people are doing that. Yeah.
Musical houses.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. But,
But like I said, I thank the American Red Cross. I stayed in a hotel in Brandon right next to the hospital. So I was back and forth with my dad for a month.
Wow.
To,
You were all the way up in Brandon then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how old was he when he passed away?
89.
89.
He was 89. Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
But
And so the map, this
Yeah.
is what you
yeah,
guys.
to bring attention to the map, I want.
You're gonna still do it?
Our goal was to re-expose everyone that's still open, but at some point, yes, I just want everyone to know that's on this map, that's listening to your show, that our hearts go out to you, and we will keep your memory. And I hope to bring continued exposure September 28th with a published book, so everyone is remembered. And I will say this: that you asked what I might name the book, and consideration with the islands. And you asked what we talked about. Every 30 minutes, I tried to get his flip phone. Always have a flip phone, because
Yeah.
flat phones don't work in a storm when they slip out of your hands, but a flip phone's easier to hold. And the clock remained working on the
Wow.
top.
Wow.
Every 30 minutes, I called 911. We're still here. Don't forget us.
Wow.
And,
What did
and
they
that's
say
how
to
I
you?
feel about Formers Beach, Captiva, Sanibel. All of us are still suffering down
When
there.
you called 911, did they answer?
There was a red light that came across that said signal recognized or something. I don't
so
know.
You were losing
So, and
signal.
also I was calling my son redial every chance I could when I could.
But there was no service.
He got the calls later.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So my dad's phone survived and the calls went through delayed when the signal was picked up. So
Joanne says, "Oh, you dear, sweet, and totally lovely lady. Cheers to your dad. God bless him, and may he rest in peace."
yes, make it a celebration today about my dad, please.
Let's do
That's
another
what
toast
he
to our
likes.
dad. Let's everybody
He liked
raise your
to-
glass.
He liked to drink beer and sing karaoke.
He liked to drink
Kinda-
beer. What
and
was his
sing
favorite karaoke
karaoke.
song?
Let's see. Let's see. Mojo O'Brien would know because he sang it every morning.
I
We
see.
ate breakfast at Mojo's, and
Mojo's.
everybody would stop and cheer my dad
Yeah,
with her.
and
What
Mojo's
beer
is
did-
rebuilding.
What beer was his favorite
He
beer?
liked Miller Lite,
Oh.
Bloody Marys, and Cuba Libras over the years.
Miller Lite. Everybody in their 80s seems to
You
like
liked
Miller
the
Lite. Yeah, like Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that was a Mitch thing.
So, do you have any of those that are available right now, like classic
There's-
maps that
There's
people
a
can
few
buy?
around at let's see, UPS. I talked to him. He's an advertiser. He said that people were taking them for souvenirs.
Nice.
Because
Yeah, sure.
some
I'm sure
of
they
us
buy
aren't
them.
here, and
Yeah.
you know, so
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure
So-
people would buy them as memorabilia because
that's
Well,
exciting.
Thank you so much for.
This is all I have left. You might find cases in the canal.
Yeah,
Anybody?
well, there's a lot of shit you're going to find in the
Tom,
canal
if you're
right
out
now.
there and
Yeah.
you find a case of them, let's dry them out.
Thank you so much
Hang
for
'em
coming
up.
on
Thank you
and
for
telling
having
your
me.
story.
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
Cheers to my dad.
Lisa, big hand for Lisa,
Jim,
please.
right?
Really big hand. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, dear. We have one more guest. Roy is coming on, and Roy has written a book about survivors on Fort Myers Beach, and it just came out yesterday on Amazon. He doesn't have any books available for sale today. He's going to show one book, but Roy kind of got in contact with us by email, asked for some stories about what was going on. Roy Santoro, and the name of the book is Hurricane Ian: Stories from the Storm. And you can get it on Amazon right now. We by the way, we're not selling that. We're not making a percentage. I don't know if I need to say that, but we hope you do buy the book because there are some great stories in there. Now, Roy, thanks for coming on. How many of the stories are from Fort Myers Beach?
I would say I would say about 65, 70% because
Oh, wow.
I tried to get stories from like Cape Coral. People forget like Arcadia got whacked with all
Yep.
the rain. And I work at the Southwest Florida Horse Rescue, so we saw a lot of the people coming in from up there where the flooding had wiped out a lot of the agricultural grass, so they were bringing in hay and all kinds of stuff for the horses, and then that turned into an EOC because a lot of them shut down really early, which was very surprising. So we started getting a lot of supplies for humans,
Mhm.
like diapers and all kinds of other stuff. So,
And that a horse cannot use that.
now a horse cannot use that, but there were a lot of stories about horses swimming in water up to their chest and stuff. And
You know, I remember somebody got a hold of us, or that was on Facebook. Somebody was looking for their horse for the longest time out, further out. But I mean, do you remember that story? Yeah. I hope
I
they
don't.
found. Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
do
seeing a
remember.
story on the news the other day. There was some horse stuck in like a crevice in Turkey, and he was stuck in there
They
for
pull
2
it out.
weeks. And somehow how does a horse survive in a hole for 2 weeks?
no
I mean, what are you
idea.
eating?
How do
What
you
does a
go
horse
down a lane and just take a left turn
I
to
just
Turkey
for some reason
in
I
your
remember
mind?
seeing this guy pull a horse out of a hole in Turkey.
Yeah, they
I mean, if you're a horse, do you really want to be in Turkey?
No.
I mean, that's
Probably not.
that's like the
Probably
last
not.
place you want to be is in Turkey if you're a horse, right?
But the reason I started doing it was because I was running a team.
Right?
You're gonna pull it right back in,
I know,
Roy.
I'm
You
going-
pull him right back in.
I
Reel
know.
him back into
I used
reality
to be a TV
here.
producer, so I'll reel him back.
Yeah,
in.
reel him back in.
Yeah.
He's gone out again.
The reason I did is I'm hearing all these stories, and it's like I don't see anybody keeping
Mhm.
track of them. And I'm running into all these people who are saying we need to preserve these stories.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was the intent of the book. And I did investigative stuff when I worked in TV in Chicago for 40 years. And I was usually used to chasing criminals and politicians and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I started going
Why do you
into-
put those two together?
Criminals and politicians.
Oh, they're nothing alike. I'm sorry.
Like, what was the most crazy politician story you've ever chased down?
Well, Chicago is so infamous for all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
like
well, pick one.
Paul Powell, who was a Secretary of State. After he died, they found all this money in his
Casket?
closet and shoeboxes.
Yeah.
He's just
Wow.
been stashing all this money away.
Where'd he get it from?
He was just taking it from his office
I
out of his
see.
funds and just putting
I
it
see.
away.
And that's illegal. You shouldn't do that.
I probably shouldn't do it.
When
but-
you're in public. In
yeah.
Chicago, it seems like it should be legal.
Now
Well-
you're gonna get a lot of hate messages for that.
Well, I mean,
I joke with my friends
love
because I'm
Chicago.
a resident of Florida, so I joke with them now. They're putting little things about they just voted in the race for mayor in Chicago. I go, I already voted 3 times.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that
so-
where the Lightfoot lady was, or
Oh,
is that?
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first mayor of Chicago in 40 years that didn't win re-election.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when there are 30 people dying every day, I guess you have a hard time
Well,
winning re-election.
Not well loved up there, and that
Yeah.
was she
Yeah.
had a lot of issues.
Why are we talking about Chicago?
So
I
how
don't know.
long did it? When did you start the book?
Yeah.
And when did you? Because this
Um,
seems like a
It was
pretty
weird
fast
because I
turnaround.
kind of started it in October when I started to hear all these stories, and I had a friend who said, "Who's writing this? Who's keeping track
Right.
of this?" I go, "No, nobody." So I started just keeping notes in this little book that I have in here.
Uh-huh.
And then I just started hearing these stories from the people at the rescue where I was at.
Okay.
And so then I go, somebody's got to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I came down to Fort Myers Beach.
And then did you just approach people?
Yeah,
Or,
like Trisha Kett was just sitting. One of the people I talked to was just sitting there
Bless you.
in a chair, staring out at the
Yeah,
ocean.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I go, I have to go talk to her. And she
Right.
just opened up.
Yeah.
Then I met Robin Hardiman, this woman. There was a whole camp of
Bless you.
people living under the bridge
Mm-hmm.
after the storm, and everybody thought they're like homeless.
They were
And I
shrimpers.
go,
Right.
I know homeless because I'm from Chicago, and I was in and out of there. These are not
Yeah.
your traditional homeless people. These are people that were living on the boats, and nowhere else to go. So in her case, they
Bless you.
came in off the boat, and they're staying inside of their car because they figure, oh, we'll be safe under the bridge. Well,
Yeah.
At about 11:30, when the surge started to come in, their dog jumps up on them because they're sleeping. And the dog is soaking wet. And within like 5-10 minutes, the water was all the way up to their chest
And they're in the car.
in the car. And the only reason they're probably alive, they're smokers. And they had their windows open so they could scoot right out.
Yep.
So then they went up underneath the bridge. They were under that like concrete thing hanging
Mhm.
there. And the water keeps coming up. And guess what comes floating by? 25-foot boat, unmanned, floating by. The husband grabs it. They jump in the boat.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, it's not over yet. It gets worse. The HVAC system off the Diversified building starts to snap off, and big chunks of metal are coming in, breaking off, and they're falling down on top of them.
Oh,
So they push themselves off the bridge across, and the whole time up in the windows, there's 3 people watching the whole thing. They can't help
right.
because the flood's so high they can't open the doors.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, it just some of these stories are just like they boggle your mind
Yeah.
No.
until you go there and see them. Then a truck from Doc Ford's blows through the window of the building, and they were able to get inside, and that's why they're still alive.
So
just-
they went from under the bridge onto a boat, and
They
then
went from a car under the bridge in
to
a boat into the building.
building.
Wow. How many different stories are in the book?
I chopped it down to 24. I had like 40, and I had another 50 that I could
Yeah.
have interviewed, but
Yeah.
at some point, I figured I have to stop.
Mhm.
Get it out there.
And get it out there. Like one of the most interesting ones is, I don't know if you've seen the video of the house that floats away on Fort Myers Beach. So that was shot by a storm chaser named Max Olson.
Yeah.
So I tracked him down, and he told me the whole story of how they put it there, why they put it there, and then the story of the house is floating away. He had no idea there's 2 people inside. He only finds out later that these 2 people jumped out the window, and one hung onto a tree, and the other one ended up in a house and busted the window open and jumped into that house that was still standing. So that video that he shot is the first time that anybody has shot a storm surge from beginning to end, because it had a 24-hour cycle inside of it. So the National Hurricane Center has contacted him. All of these builders have contacted him.
Yeah,
because it shows how the building washed away. So he says
useful information.
It's very, and it's already got like 6 million hits.
Wow.
So he was fascinating to talk to. I talked to Matt Devitt from Wink TV, and I was shocked because some of the stuff he said, I go, do you want me to really print this? They're going to fire you. And he goes, nope, this needs to be out there. And so he said, yeah, we blew it. Anytime that many people die in a storm, there's something wrong with the way we're forecasting. So he told me that starting next hurricane season, you're not going to see the little line, the little line that shows the path of the storm.
Spaghetti.
It's getting rid of it. He says, because too many people think that line is the law.
Right.
He says the cone is what you look at.
Yeah.
And like this area never left the cone. 5 days out,
Right.
this area was in the cone.
Dead. Right.
Stayed in the cone. I also asked him about, is there some kind of a thing, like in the Midwest, everybody's used to the tornado alleys. Is there a hurricane alley building here? Because Charlie took a similar path than as Ian did. And I go, is there something with the river, something with the water, the warmth of the water? And he says, I don't know, but it is. They're studying all this stuff to see if this warmer waters along the coastline are maybe drawing the storms in. So,
so they can track it and forecast.
Yeah, his
better.
chapter is fascinating because he talks about Wink is moving. They're not going to be down here anymore. They're going to move further inland because he warned them. So we told you guys to get out. You're going to get water in here. And having worked in broadcasting for 40 years, we always had a backup studio, someplace you could broadcast from, and they didn't. So they're going to redo everything that their hurricane plan. So
do you think you're going to write a follow-up book?
I think I almost have to write like something when it gets closer to the 1 year anniversary to update where these people have all ended up.
Yeah.
Matt Simon said he's the guy that rescued the TV crew that went over the bridge.
I didn't hear about that.
There was a crew doing a live shot. These guys are
From
meeting
which
around.
station?
Fox.
The local Fox affiliate or Fox
so
News?
they were doing live shots down there. You think this guy's been
during the storm?
Yeah, he's been
Now listen, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I went home.
Well, he's been covering hurricanes for a long time. Do you think that he would get
when it's
I
time to
think
go?
he got caught by the topography there because if you go on San Carlos, there's that little dip there.
Right.
And that's where a big chunk of the surge went in. And that's why all those boats ended up in that mangrove.
Right.
So
do you have contact information for all these people?
Yeah.
Like, because I think, like, I don't want to take away from your book sales, but I think like doing a video interview of them 1 year after would be really cool.
I'll send you a list of who they are. Some of them might not want to.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I kind of stumbled on them, and some of them are gone. They've moved to other places.
Right.
But I'll give you what I have because I think the idea here was twofold: save the stories, and then tell these stories because there are a lot of people who are coming down here from the north who have no idea what a hurricane is. They think it's a tornado. Well, a tornado lasts. I've been in 3 tornadoes. It lasts like a minute.
Right.
And
this went on and on.
Did you ever have to hug a palm tree in the water for 4 hours as the storm surge goes by?
I told somebody, what was this like? I said, take your grandma, put her up on the roof in a thunderstorm.
Right,
or
89 years old.
Right,
He was 89 years old.
89. And then multiply that by 10.
Right.
Because you're up there for 6. Some of these guys are up on roofs for 6-7 hours.
When I'm 89, she's going to be changing my diaper and wiping drool off my mouth.
And I will tell you.
Somebody will, but it won't be me, folks.
Ain't gonna be me either.
It ain't gonna...
And I got to admit, a lot of this is guys.
There's not going to be any volunteers in the audience
No,
either.
you see how quiet it got after
Yeah.
they left? They were like,
Getting old sucks.
They all averted their gaze. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
they
going to
don't
be
like the
us
old people
either.
jokes.
We're going back to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
but not before you get the cheese.
But there's a lot of little tips in there
Yeah.
for people if they're ever caught in this situation. Like this one guy, this Dwight Hummel guy, he reminded me so much of my dad. He took a bunch of his stuff, put it in a water bag, and just threw it in the clubhouse where he was sleeping. Well, the clubhouse floods. He ends up on the roof, but he's an old sailor and what's the scout? The Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
I'm an
uh-huh.
Eagle
Oh,
Scout.
yeah.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
You are not. He's
You
the
don't-
furthest thing from
you
an
don't
Eagle
look like
Scout.
an Eagle Scout. Sorry.
No, he doesn't even know how to change
No
a light
offense.
bulb. Go ahead.
But anyways, he can't get up. So a golf cart drifts by. He climbs up on the golf cart, and for some reason, this guy brings a rope with him because he's a sailor.
Wow.
Well, it turns out to be a smart thing because he ties his rope onto the electrical thing that's coming up out of the beach house that he
Yeah.
stayed in, and that saved him from getting blown off.
Wow.
And then the water goes down. He falls off the roof, checks himself out, and he goes back in the clubhouse, finds his wallet, and at least he's got a dry pair of pants.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Dude, you're going to sell a lot of
Always
these books.
have a dry bag. I
You're going to
guess.
sell a lot of
I-
these
but I-
books
I
because
never-
these are great. Sound like great stories.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
how many total stories? 24?
there's 24, and
60% are from Fort Myers Beach.
right, and some of them I kicked out because there's some people embellishing things.
Really?
Like, oh, there's a 3-foot storm
Yeah.
thing came in my house, and I go,
Did you
"Oh,
ever see one of her bike rides? She embellishes the whole time while
Oh,
she's out
stop.
there.
I do not.
Oh, please. The wind is blowing me down. I think I'm going to fall.
How long have you been together?
Couple,
Too long.
Couple hours
Too long,
now.
Roy.
Couple
Too
hours this morning.
long.
Give you credit for doing
28
this
years.
Wow.
You don't get that for
That's
triple
almost 3
murder.
decades.
You know
Wait,
what?
You don't get 28 years for a triple murder.
I know.
What do you mean
I
triple
have
murder?
paid my doggone dues, right?
It's called Hurricane Ian Storms, Stories from the Storm. Where is that picture from?
That's from the mangroves.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Right
was
over
like
there on
it was
San
like
Carlos.
a boat cemetery over there those
Yeah.
first few days. I
That
mean,
boat might still be there.
No, most of them are gone. They got a
I
hard
know
time
most
getting
of them
out
are,
'cause-
but a couple of them are still there.
you know, it's in some senses you say it's been 6 months and XYZ hasn't been done, but it's been 6 months and all those gigantic boats have
know.
been removed. Like that can't be an easy
No.
task.
I mean, there is an enormous amount of progress, and if people are just
Yeah.
coming down and they see it now, because I'm telling everybody, go down there. You need to see it because the national media came in, did their normal
Yeah.
3-4
Right.
days.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all cleaned up,
Right.
and I have friends going, "Oh, can I go down to Fort Myers Beach?" I
Right.
go, "The place is gone. Do you not
Right.
understand that place you went to last year? That's not there, and neither are the restaurants that you liked.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
gone, but they are rebuilding it, and
Yeah.
you should come down." And I tell everybody, come down. This is kind of like hollow ground now. So don't
Right.
come down here.
Right. Don't drive 5 miles an hour down Astoria Boulevard.
Right.
All right.
Well,
So-
If you
or
wanna
mess,
take pictures,
you know,
get out of
there's
your
enough
vehicle.
stuff here. You know what? Bring
Let
a
the people-
bag
let-
and help clean up.
Let the people
because-
get back
Right.
to their homes that live on the island. If you want to take pictures, park and get out.
Yeah, go for a walk.
What I actually recommended to a couple guys is they go, find you two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They always have these little beach outings you could go
Right.
on.
Yeah.
To clean and
Well,
yeah,
what's that like? I go, well, you get a bag
Yeah.
and you get the little
Yeah.
things and you pick up garbage off the beach.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I go, yeah, actually, while you're looking at all this stuff, you can pick it up.
You
You
could do
can help.
something
Yep,
to help.
yep,
yeah.
yep.
So, and I just want to, not to kiss ass or anything, but I think you guys are doing a great job because
Well, thank
this
you.
local kind of media is so rare in places.
He
and what-
says that all the time.
And what
Yeah.
you guys are doing is you're getting into the nitty gritty. That one guy talking about his insurance.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
a guy trying to write a book about insurance that contacted me, and I go, that is so far above my
Yeah.
pay grade
Right,
because you should have a lawyer, a real estate guy, and an insurance guy as your advisors if you're going to write that book. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just going to make things worse. So,
Marianne, what didn't I get? They're telling there's some stories going on here behind my back. Somebody's mocking me on the Facebook there, but Marianne said I didn't get something. She's probably right. I probably didn't get it, but
A lot of stuff goes over your head.
well, we want to thank you for coming on, and we
I think it
hope.
was the 28-year thing about the triple murder thing.
Oh, I
like
still don't
I'm
get it.
serving a sentence
you are starting to
longer
say- yeah.
Please,
because I'm with
Here,
you.
do you
I didn't
know-
say it this time, but he said it, and Marianne.
there. How
Got
many
it.
times did you have to cut in line to get to me? I mean, come on, please.
You shouldn't have given me a microphone. That's all I got to say.
Please buy the book.
I
You're
was
going to
under
enjoy the
duress.
stories. It's on Amazon. You
It's
can
on
get it on your
Amazon,
Kindle. You can get it on the
and
Kindle.
paperback.
How much is it on the Kindle? Like $9.99?
Kindle
or-
is $9.99,
Yeah.
and the other one is $15.
Now, is it going to be? It's available in hard copy now, or do you have it local?
I can
or?
do a hard copy, but I think the more important, I just wanted to get it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I can make a hard copy. It just makes it more
Yeah,
expensive.
everybody reads
Yeah.
on a Kindle. I mean, who?
Right.
I was so.
I
hooked-
like holding a book.
I
And
was
the
so. You don't even read. I mean, when was
Well,
the last?
that was
Wait,
rude.
when was the last hard copy book you read? Name it.
I
Name
read
it.
a lot of stuff with my work. I don't read a lot,
Oh,
but
okay.
that
Yeah,
I
she
read.
she's
That I'll
she
read.
read
woman.
school books. Like you'd have to go.
Like on physics and stuff.
Oh, okay. She reads about physics.
All right,
and
no,
I
I'm
read
not
Vince
believing.
Flynn.
I'm not believing that.
Physics. I mean, so the Kindle is $9.99, and how much do you make off each book?
$3, but I've already started.
Nice.
As you know, I've already donated some money to you guys, so
You did?
Yes, we
kinda just-
appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you for that. We appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
love that cup of coffee thing. Great idea.
It's crazy.
Thank
It's
you.
crazy. Everybody knows
And
what the
did you
cup of
see
coffee
we got
things.
new?
Yeah.
We just got coffee
It's the
mugs
crazy.
from our
It's-
friends.
yeah.
But the
Okay.
other thing I want to plug for the book is when you buy the book, you get access to this website, and it's all the pictures that I took of the people.
What is the name of the website? What's
You got to read. You got to get the book.
well, I mean, people here might want to go check out the website.
When you buy the
You've
book, right
got-
inside
that's
here,
how
I
you
see.
get
You got to
the
click on the.
access.
I got
and
it.
you go to this website in there, and it's got pictures of all of the the people that I interviewed, like the
Awesome.
woman under the bridge. Some of them sent me videos, like the people Andrea Berg, who
Very
drove
cool.
out of San Carlos with the water up to the roof of their.
What's your next project going to be?
I don't know.
All right.
Are you still working at the horse rescue? What's going
Yeah.
on there?
We have a Chili Fest coming up.
Oh,
nice.
there you go.
Wait.
March 11th.
It's not. It's not horse meat, is it?
No, they stole one of our horses. We're still looking for it.
Somebody stole one of your
Somebody
horses.
stole one
what
of our
kind
horses.
of crap is that?
Is it like a racehorse?
No, it was a rescue horse. We rescued this horse from a place where it was being abused.
And someone stole
Somebody
it?
came and stole it. So it's either there's
You know,
been a lot of horse.
I have to tell you
thefts around
something.
Here, so.
I've
Maybe
only
you should write a book on horse thieving.
I've only stole one thing in my life. Like I stole something from Times Square store. It was like I don't even know what it was. It was like a shirt. I don't even know
He
why.
was very young.
But I was young. I walked out, and then the security guards grabbed me, and they put me in the back room, and they called my parents. They were threatened that they
Oh
were going
my
to call
God.
my parents. Like I was crying like a little girl. I mean, sorry, I don't mean
Wow,
like
you
a little
just
baby.
insulted little girls.
I was
Wow.
crying like, don't call my parents. My dad would have whooped my ass in the worst way. I would rather go to jail than to have my dad
and
whoop
served
my ass.
28 years.
I never stole anything after that again. Never.
That's why he got to 28 years.
That's right.
So-
What did I do?
So I don't have any idea why I just told that story, but I don't know how.
Neither
how you
does
can
anyone
steal,
else.
Now,
but-
how you can steal a horse?
Well, there's some people steal them for meat. They'll actually take
Oh, I was
them-
joking. Somebody
Oh.
can eat a horse meat.
Well, it's a cultural thing. Some people eat horse meat. Like
I don't eat any
everybody
meat.
in here is probably eating birds.
So,
and
so what
stuff,
you're saying is that guy that rescued that horse in Turkey probably just ate it afterward.
I have no idea. But
Okay, well, back to the book.
Oh,
The
here's-
book looks fantastic.
She hates it when I
And
go off the
remind
rails.
everybody where they can get it again.
you can get that on
Amazon.
Amazon. And if you do buy it, review it. Even if you think it sucks and it's the biggest piece of crap ever,
Oh, stop.
that helps
Nobody's
me
gonna
because
say
if
that.
I do write another version, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the
No.
constructive stuff, right?
24
Yeah.
stories,
And-
60 to 70% are from Fort Myers Beach. So thank you for doing it.
Thank you guys
for coming
being
on.
here.
Can we get a
coming
big hand for Roy? The name of the book is Stories from the Storm.
Yeah. And if you want flyers, I have them.
Here you
I'll
go.
pass
Hey, go
them
ahead
out.
and pass them out. Thank you
guys.
so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We're not
Thank
going to
you.
leave without Dixie coming on the show.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes, you are coming on the show.
Dear, you can't make people do it.
She's coming on the show. Come on. Please. Please. Dixie. Roy, she's going to squeeze by you here. Come on down, Dixie Biller. She's got the Wisconsin accent.
I
Wait
know.
till you hear
oh,
this.
No.
I have to support that.
Go ahead.
So, Dixie.
Yes.
Okay.
Dixie, you are from Wisconsin.
I'm originally from Wisconsin, but I now live in Minnesota. I have for
Wait.
many years.
You went too fast. We got Wisconsin in the house here. How many people from Wisconsin? It's crazy. It's like Wisconsin's second home down
It
here.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what's your draw to Fort Myers Beach?
You know, for the last several years, my husband and I came down to Fort Myers Beach. You know, we stayed in a home right smack on the beach. And I lost my husband a few years ago, so the house came available again. So I got my family to come down along with friends, and so I still am able to come down. And so I have been down here for 3 years with them, and we rented it again this year, but the house floated away.
Oh, bummer. Where did you say it was?
It was on Estero Boulevard. It was right by number 14. Walk out to the pier, out to the beach. I think it's 14, but it was a beautiful home. It was probably one of the nicest homes in the area that was on that beach. I mean, we had the sand up to the doors, and but it just floated away.
How did you know? Like, you weren't in town when it happened.
No.
How did you know what was going on?
Well, I follow Facebook, and I followed for some reason got onto your Facebook site, and so I started really following that, and then we got a phone call from the Sun Palace, is who we rented it from, and I called them, and they said it was not there any longer. So we had already planned to stay an extra week down in Fort Myers, so we already rented a house, but it was up in the Cape Coral area, so I had to scramble to get another place to stay down here, and we're up in Cape Coral for the 2.5 weeks.
So you brought, who are these people here?
Well, I have a sister here. Her name is Pixie.
Pixie and Dixie.
Yep.
Now, wait a second. Now I need some parental explanation for this.
Do you have any brothers?
You're going to use your microphone for the show, dear? I mean, you're part of the show. I mean,
do you have any brothers?
I do. I have a brother, Ken, who passed away a few years ago. He was younger than us. And then a brother, Jeff.
Okay. Jeff, Ken, Pixie, and
Jeff
Dixie.
and Ken, and then Pixie and Dixie.
Yes. And then I have a sister, Patty.
Oh,
okay, Patty.
There you go.
I didn't hear what she said. What did
She said she was happy not to be Trixie.
And then I have Joe and Judy from Ellsworth, Wisconsin.
Very nice. Joe and Judy are here.
And then Patty and John they're from Wisconsin. Pixie and Bob, they're from Wisconsin. And then my friend Mary, whose birthday it is
happy
today, too.
birthday.
Wait, whose birthday is it?
Mary's.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Mary, happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. How old are you, Mary?
You don't get to ask anybody
sorry.
that. She's 29.
Now, we appreciate you coming down. You told me you were going to need a table of 8 reserved here at
Yes.
Wahoo Willie'S, and you guys have been buying our stuff, and thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much for all the
we want to
support.
thank you for all of your support, and for everything you've done for us and being part of our little tribe here. And if there's anything we could ever do for the people of Wisconsin, we want your quarterback playing for the New York Jets. I'm sorry to say that. So, and I'm sure you don't want him anymore.
Yeah, and cheese.
And cheese.
Yeah. What is this cheese all about?
Well, Joe, who is from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, has worked for the Ellsworth Creamery and was in charge of making the cheese.
Wow.
Wisconsin is known for the cheese curds, capital of the world. And so,
is there like a museum for that? There probably is. There probably is.
Now,
Or
when I
there
hear
should be.
cheese curds, I think cheese doodle. Is it the same thing?
No,
I don't
it's not
think
the
so.
same
It's not
thing
the
at
same
all.
thing as a cheese. It's insulting you when I say cheese doodle, right?
Yeah,
He's
that's
gonna
like a
throw. He's
chip.
just gonna throw
Yeah.
a bottle at me.
Not a cheese thing.
But
So-
wherever we go, he always has to bring a bunch of cheese for
Wherever
people.
we go,
Go.
wherever we go.
There was-
The Wisconsin.
Dave, she's got a Wisconsin accent like you do over there. You know, the funniest part about it is Dave is usually this is his seat. And when he came in and saw that we
you
put a
guys had
table 8 together.
commandeered his
If
seat.
I'd have known everybody was from Wisconsin, I would have put
We
a
just added
chair up
another
there
table
for
on
everybody.
there.
So
Well, we want to thank you too. It's been so nice to follow you on Facebook every Saturday. Well, I mean, I'm on it all the time, and especially I said to Kim when she does her Sunday biking. Sometimes I'm always saying, Kim, turn your head a little bit.
And I always tell people I can't see the screen with the sun.
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
got to get that
writing.
right so
I
people
know.
get what they want to
That's
see. Maybe
right.
we need a bigger camera or something.
There you
I need
go.
a bigger phone.
We just
Yeah.
need somebody following you around with a professional camera.
Oh yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for keeping us all informed out there. You've been just a godsend to all of us. And
Thank
you're
Thank
so
you. Too
supportive.
kind.
So,
Thank you
well,
to everybody in Wisconsin
Yes.
that pays attention to our
And
show, our
Indiana,
little project.
and
Thank you.
Ohio,
Thank
and
you all for coming
Michigan.
down.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Dixie.
so much.
Dixie
Iowa.
Pillar, everybody. Wow. It's so great to talk to. Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Before
for
we
sure.
leave, we're going to wrap up the show in a minute. I have to say, well, before I have to say anything, I have to say stevesappraisals.com. Now, you might need an appraisal because there's some crazy things going on out there with houses and things like that. We had Steve and his wife on the show a couple of weeks ago at Margarita's, and they're local, they're trustworthy, and they're funny as shit. And there's no doubt about it. They are one funny couple. If you need your place appraised, Steve's Appraisal Service is a small local husband and wife team. The phone number for Steve's Appraisal is 239-837-8379, or you can call Steve on his cell because he likes to give out a cell phone number. 219-405-8283. An appraisal can help save your home from the 50-50 rule. The 50-50 rule is like the devil. Well, FEMA's like the devil, but the 50-50 rule is equally like the devil. I think the 50-50 rule and FEMA are in bed together.
Okay.
Anyway,
You're losing your funny. Can you wrap it up here?
well, as long as I think I'm funny. Steve's Appraisals.
You're running out of funny.
Steve's Appraisals. It's the red tide there. It's cutting into me. Steve'sAppraisalService.com. Steve'sAppraisalService.com. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Steve and his wife. I don't think I've ever laughed as much as I did with those guys.
Yeah, that was funny.
And for, are you serious?
Are you serious?
Wow. Our
Well,
first
there you go,
guest
folks.
just got a call
He
from
got a call
Washington,
from
D.C.
Washington, D.C. to fill out another application.
Wow.
So
Maybe Byron Donalds was
somebody's
watching our
listening,
show.
possibly,
Yeah.
or
Or maybe it was
we'll
just
take it.
it's
We'll
probably
take
just
it.
dumb luck. So the one thing I want to mention, everybody that might be watching, I am going to go in front of the town council on Monday. If you want to show up to support our little project, that's fine, but you don't have to go out of your way. We're going to get approved for our March 18th concert. We're putting on a concert in Times Square on March the 18th. It's going to be like a sunset celebration like they used to do. We're going to have Stephen Clark, who everybody knows and loves from Michigan. He's going to play first. And then we have Coastal Cowboy playing second after them. So it's a nice little mix of music. And we're going to have all the nonprofits from Fort Myers Beach lined up and down Times Square. So it's going to be like a mini festival. And the town is going to approve it. It's either going to be 5-0 or 4-1. And I think you know who the other one is going to be, but it's probably going to be 5-0. And I will be going to make a presentation about the event on Monday because there's some other things that we've helped. There's some other organizations that we helped out that are going to be there. So we're going to pitch that to the town council on Monday. So if you want to come down, you can. It's always great to see a sea of yellow shirts anywhere like we had today.
Yes.
In this place.
And don't worry, we will not be singing. It will be professional singers, not us.
No.
Because your happy birthday rendition, it
was
was
pretty
rough
bad.
over here.
Yeah.
It was rough.
So that's going to be, if you're going to be in town. Wait, she was cheering what you just said
I know,
about how
they
bad
love
it
it.
was.
They love it.
If you're going to be in town, it's going to be March 18th from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in Times Square. So please come out, bring your lawn chair, bring your cooler, even though you're not supposed to. But Tom at La Ola will be open. There might be another food truck or two. So it's just a chance for the resident. It's called Residents Night Out. And it's just going to be a chance for everybody to relax and watch the sunset on Fort Myers Beach. So that'll be March 18th. And was there anything else? Now, where are you
No, I
riding
think
tomorrow?
that's
Where are you riding tomorrow?
I have to I have to look back at where I left. I think I'm starting at St. Peter's Church, but I got to look at it. And moving south. And then once I get all done, we'll just, start back down at the other end because it's going to take a while. So hopefully you'll see, development and things change and things clean up and things get built. And so if you see me out there, I had someone last week I was on one street, and this is unfortunate, but used to not be able to see to the next street over, but literally it was open lots. So I heard someone yelling, and I'm spinning around. She's like, I'm up here, and it was the next street over, and she was on her balcony up top, and she came out in the yellow shirt to say hello. So
thank
sweet.
you all for
So
buying the
thank you
yellow
so
shirts.
much.
It's so
Yeah.
cool. It's so cool to see something that started out as an idea with a tape recorder, and 5 years later to see that people
Yeah.
are actually wearing products that you that you.
Yeah.
And thank you for
Thank you
for all of that. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to Wahoo Willie'S. Please tip everybody as much as you can and support all the business on Fort Myers
And
Beach. Have a
thank
great.
you, Jackie Schulte, who bought some merchandise today, and Ed had thrown in some extra sizes so she could pick the right size. She went through those. She goes, I'm just taking it all, and add a couple of hats and add a couple of things. And it was just so nice how generous everybody has been. And we cannot thank you enough for your support in all of the endeavors.
And the coffee clutch that we've created,
Yes.
the coffee clutch that we've created really has enabled me to quit my daytime job.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And he's
That's
much
no joke.
happier. So
Yeah.
thank you, folks.
Thank you. And we'll see you again tomorrow on the bike and Monday night with the mayor. We'll be on Monday night with the mayor.
All right.
Bye-bye.